Hello and welcome to another Let's Play of Eldfall Chronicles. As you can see here, today we are playing the Northern Wind campaign, a bit more precisely the Abandoned Monastery, after last time we found the monk Kogetsu. And let's jump right into the narrative. Along the narrow southern road, mist snakes through the crevice, thinking as you venture deeper into the unforgiving land. In the distance, the faint outline of a monastery looms, its fortified design immediately apparent. As you approach the open front gates and peer inside, the sparse trees and open grounds on the lower level seem deliberate, ensuring that any approaching along the winding path is fully exposed to the watchful eyes above. The moat and the bridge connecting the lower with the upper ground have grown putrid with stagnation, toxic fumes swirling ominously over the bridge. The upper grounds feature a seemingly tranquil prayer hall and a small bell tower linked by a roof walkway that casts shadows over the entrance. Nothing the monastery's calculated layout, you press onward, every step heavier with the weight what awaits. So, place tiles, place heroes, place encounter 1, toxic, hazy, heavy cover environments, and profane burner tokens as indicated on the field. Burner, toxic, hazy, encounter 1, and dense cover. Skip the weather check at the start of the quest. Yeah. Profane burner, we do not remove dead or incapacitated hostiles unless of a result and of an effect. In the strategic phase, all of the hostile turn, all undead hostiles in the dead state resurrect, regain all full HP, and all states are removed, and the command undead spell cannot be used if a profane burner is present. Necromantic Fort, if a profane burner is present and there are no weather effects in play, all range attacks suffer -3 modifier. When casting a spell, a range attack, caster suffers and so on. And to clean a profane burner, we have to make an interact action and spend either 1 mana point or make a successful -3 moral roll. And if it is cleaned, the profane burner becomes an incense burner. And the quest ends when all heroes leave the exit. So, with all that said, let's give our heroes some activation points. And in the strategic phase, let's think about what Nara will do. Since we have here no hostiles so far, I don't think that Nara will immediately do anything offensive, so therefore I go with my default answer to that, Spectral Sight, which grants her advantage against undead. That's on Nara. Excuse me. So, with all that said, we do our... before I forget it, for the synergy card, this time I think about it, or I remembered it, I will go with Sequented Assault. Only when it is unlocked, I can choose another hero in addition to this one, where I will affix it. And if the additional hero hits an enemy, I can perform a 3-strike 1 attack against the same enemy in the same activation phase. And it gets a synergy point whenever a wound is caused to a hostile if another hero is next to it. My idea is, if I unlock it, I give it to Theros, who will pick Sagan as his buddy. So every time Sagan does an attack or hits an enemy, Theros is allowed to attack too. And with Sagan being the protector and the square off ability, I assume Sagan is the one most likely to attack most of the time. So, but now I will save the activation point for Nara, and I will start with a Nari, who will walk 2 spaces, spend a mana point, and turn the incense burner into the profane burner into an incense burner, this way around. So, next, and now we will use her second activation to cast Melting Touch on Sagan. And with this, she's allowed to take 1 space because of her Arcanist Steps ability. And with all that said and done, I think Theros will activate next. Or wait. Sagan will first activate. 1, 2. He moves up to here, spending his activation. And now these are the spaces 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what happens when Nara activates 1, 2, 3, getting 2 and counter 1. Your eyes catch a fleeting glimpse of a tall, slim shadow darting across the roof tiles of the tower above. It vanishes into the darkness as quickly as it appeared. A barrage of grenades come hurtling downward towards you, the projectiles whistling through the air with deadly precision. Place 1 Bonewalker, Vengeful Spirit, and counter 2 Intrigue 1. Each space containing at least one hero is hit once with a grape shot grenade. Each model in this space suffers a power 13 hit. If the hero still has a normal activation available, it can avoid getting hit with a successful dodge. So basically all except of Anari could do that. So starting with Anari, it's a power 13 hit. Let's see, Anari has an armor of 3. And with a 4, Anari is actually wounded, and with that she is immediately incapacitated. Okay, now Sagan will just take the hit. With a 13, the grape shot failed to wound him. Therefore, let's take another die for Theros, who has only an armor of 2. Will he dodge? Will he take it? He has 2 wounds, he will also take it. With a 4, that was a bad idea. He is wounded. Oh, and Sagan gets another weak point, now having 6. And Nara, armor 3, she will also take it. With a 10, this is enough to get her wounded, and also she spent her activation point. Okay, and before I continue, I will place all the tokens, and I'll see you as soon as I have done that. Okay, with encounter 2 placed, Intrigue token 1 placed, and the Bonewalker and the Vengeful Spirit placed, Nara's movement is done, and she is still able to activate, and she will activate, and with 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, she can see Anari, and she will use this to cast Second Chance on the wounded Anari, 13 or less. These are 2 hits. Therefore, Anari is healed, and since she was down, the second effect of Second Chance triggers, she will get an activation point. And now I think Sagan will activate. Because Sagan has the Melting Touch enchantment onto him, he has Ignore Armor and Burn, and is magical. And with the Stone Splitter, he also has the Sweep 1 ability. So, with all this, Sagan will activate. Let me just give the hostiles some activation points. Sagan will activate and attack the Vengeful Spirit, who in return will attack himself. The Vengeful Spirit needing an 8 or less, Sagan will use Fencing Arts 1, Combat Art Fencing 1, to reduce the 8 to an 5. And with a 4, the Vengeful Spirit still managed to hit, or let's see. The Vengeful Spirit actually managed to win the confrontation because Sagan has a 3 and a 20. Therefore, the Vengeful Spirit wins and hits Sagan. And with a 10, that's exactly the power here. So therefore, Sagan gets a wound. That's a horrible start, but maybe I can utilize it now. Anari will activate. She will cast the Burning Touch enchantment, Sweep, Burn 1, and Magical on Nara. Therefore, she's allowed to walk again 1 space. And now Nara will activate. she will jump right into the same space as Sagan. Just taking this away and attack the Vengeful Spirit, who in return will also attack Nara. So, with this, the Vengeful Spirit, once again, or this time 8 or less, rolls a natural 20. Nara has 2 strikes on her offense with her claws. And therefore, now, since she's in the same space as Sagan, Lover's Bound activates, therefore offense of 17. 4 and 10, 2 hits. The spirit has no armor. She has a power anomaly of 12, plus 2 for her reinforced claws. It's 14 total. Therefore, 14 or less. 16 and 5. The 5 is enough to wound the Vengeful Spirit. And now, since she has the Burning Touch, she also has the Sweep 1 ability, which means that the skeleton is also hit with each strike. So 2 strikes at the Bone Walker, who has an armor of 2, therefore 12 or less. It's a 4 and an 8. Both enough to wound, but I forgot that undead models are not removed unless with an effect. So let's see. Power 14 against the Vengeful Spirit. 15, it stays, and the skeleton power 15. As 7, this one is burned and removed from the field. So, Nara activated, Sagan activated, now Theros can activate as well. And Theros will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 go right up here. And I have another idea. He will use restore 1 HP if the character to the character in the strategic. Okay, he has to wait to use it in the strategic phase, use it and gains it back. Okay, so with this, I think my party actually stays where it is because it is quite organized here. So let's see what the first Chaos card has. 2 different heroes may spend 1 AP to remove either wound or a weak point each. Okay, since it's the creature, the opponent's turn, let me just grab this, put it here. All of my heroes have activation points. I think Nara will spend it to heal her wounds, because she's our dedicated healer. I really would love to put the weak points away from Sagan, but it is more important that Theros, as a second healer with medicine, stays also alive. So these 2 heroes will just use it to put away the weak point, the damage, the wounds. So, next activation, our heroes regain all their activation points. Nara will start and she will use... She currently has a mana point. Oh, mentioning mana points, I forgot that Anari had spent her to cleanse the burner. So, and with this, yeah, she will go with Spectral Sight once more because here are no opponents. And with that said, the next burner is here. And we have the Toxic Environment. Do a toughness roll in strategic phase. On a failure, suffer 1 wound. Okay, and Hazy cannot shoot through it. So basically these 2 spaces I will try to avoid staying in them. So with this, Sagan activates 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is a 3 slots. 1, 2, 3. So Sagan spent both of his action. Next, Anari. 1, 2. These are black, so 1, she cannot use it to cast on Sagan, but she will use it to cast Melting Touch on Nara to move an additional space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Theros will just run up to here. Then Nara, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, she will just walk 5 spaces, get up to there, and she will try to cast Second Chance on Sagan. 18 and 2, therefore 1 success. Sagan's wound is healed. Anari, 1, 2, and she will cast now Melting Touch on Sagan, spending her activation point. Sagan, both of my melee have once again Ignore Armor and Burn 1. And with this, Nara and Theros can still activate once. Let's see what happens if... Yeah, Nara. 1, 2, 3. As you ascend the stairs, you spot a brute lugging a massive ancient bronze cauldron, its patina darkened by soot. Faint muffled cries echo from the cauldron's depth. A green spectral essence seeps from beneath the lid, twisting into the air like ghostly tendrils, grasping at nothing. The sand hints at death rites. Above the stair, a glimpse green ember flickers from the prayer hall, casting an eerie glow. As you take another step, the monstrous eyes catch sight of you, alerting the undead sentries. Place 1 Oni Marauder at 5, right atop, carrying superior loot, 1 Bone Walker and 1 Vengeful Spirit at 6, 1 Forgotten Hero at 7, and counter 3 on 7. If you incapacitate the Oni Marauder, it drops the superior loot token. A hero perform an act with the token, receive precious metal superior. Remove the token afterwards. Okay, I will place it, and I'll let you join as soon as I'm done. Okay, with the hostile placed, Theros will activate next. 1, 2, 3. Getting onto the same space as Sagan, and he will attack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enough spaces. The Forgotten Hero, who in return will shoot at Theros itself. Theros has only 1 attack, as does the Forgotten Hero. Theros uses Assassination 1 for +3 power and his sniper ability. Let's start with the Forgotten Hero, who has an accuracy of 14 or less. With a 17, the Forgotten Hero fails. Theros now, since he is within 8 inches, 8 spaces, +3, so 17 or less. With a 5, he is able to hit. Power 19 minus the armor value of 6, therefore 13 or less to wound. And with a 9, this is enough to put a wound onto the Forgotten Hero. And now for Nara, 1, 2, 3. Nara will 1, 2, 3 make a strategic retreat, and she will use her mana point and activation to cast Command Undead, since here are no Profane Burners active, to get the Vengeful Spirit. Therefore, it will keep its activation points, but the Forgotten Hero will shoot at Nara for this little stunt, because here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nara is in reach. Let's see, needing a 14 or less. 7, Nara is hit. It has a power of 13. Nara has an armor of 3 because Ironhide, therefore 10 or less. 7 is enough to wound Nara for 1 damage. So, with all this, I now have a Vengeful Spirit on my side. And I will not try to risk anything specific. I will try to deviate the attacks of the Oni Marauder. Therefore, this Vengeful Spirit will dodge, which activates a reaction from the Bone Walker, who will attack the Vengeful Spirit. The Bone Walker, since no friendly undead is within 3 spaces, he needs a 10, an 8 because of defense. Sorry, defense is 10, accuracy was 8. He needs a 10 or less to hit. With a 5, he's able to hit. And the Vengeful Spirit has an agility of 8, so let's see. With an 11 he fails to dodge. Since the skeleton has no magic attack, it will have its power halved, therefore 5 or less. And with a 5, the Vengeful Spirit is immediately put down. That was really bad. I had hoped to deviate the attacks of the Oni Marauder, but with this, let's go right into our reactive phase so that the hostiles' turn can begin. First of all, the heroes get some activation points. The hostiles get some activation points. You still have one. Just turn it around. As well as does the Oni Marauder. Here we go. What does the Chaos deck say? Reckless Abandon. Tier 1 hostiles gain sweep 1 for this hostile turn. So, the skeleton, but before that, the Oni Marauder will activate first. And in its active phase, it will target the closest enemy, which is Sagan and Theros. And it will walk 1, 2, getting right up here. And let's see, 1 to 10 it targets Sagan. It will target Sagan, which is quite good. So with this, the Oni Marauder attacks Sagan. Sagan will attack in return. And Theros will also activate. And Theros will try to, when the Oni Marauder moved up to here, use the Soporific Grenade. Will he use the Soporific Grenade? Will he do that actually? Let me think about it. Just to be safe, Theros will try to dodge but stay in this space. Okay. With all that said, let's roll some die. Starting with Theros, just to see if he's safe or not. Agility 13. He absolutely failed that with a 15. Sagan will reduce the offense of the Oni Marauder by 3 using his Fencing Art 1. So the Oni Marauder needing an 11 now, because -3 for Sagan. 17 and 9. With this, only 9 hits, and then Sagan needs also he needs a 14 or less, and it's a 9 and a 13. So the 9 do not cancel each other out, they will hit each other, but the 13 cancelled out the 9 of the Oni Marauder, and with this, Sagan's 2 hits strike the Oni, while the Oni is unable to strike bad. Let me just, no, I would stay with these dice. So now Sagan, still under the influence of Melting Touch, ignores armor. Toughness of 13 plus the power of 2, toughness plus 2 for the Stone Splitter, so 15 or less to wound the Oni Marauder. 7 and 14. These are enough to put 2 wounds onto the Oni Marauder. And now the burn 1 with a 2 is enough to put a 3rd wound onto the Oni Marauder. That was great. And now let me just have a look at Bleed. I assume Bleed was in the strategic phase. Yeah, it was in the strategic phase. And therefore now it is the Oni Marauder's 2nd activation. Theros will not react. Let's see who the Oni Marauder will attack. 1 to 10 it's Sagan. It is Sagan again. Sagan will activate. Theros will take it this time. I have a bad feeling about it. But there are still activations, so yeah. Theros will stay where he is. Okay. The Oni Marauder. Sagan once again uses his Fencing Art 1, -3 for offense, so Oni Marauder 11 or less. 17 and 16, the Oni Marauder failed. Okay, this was a good call for Theros. Sagan, 14 or less. 12 and 4. Therefore 2 hits, 15 or less to wound. 16 and a 6, the Oni Marauder is down. Let's see if the burn 15 does anything. 14. It is enough to destroy the Oni Marauder and burn it from the field. Okay, it took both activations of Sagan, and now the Bone Walker will activate. It will walk towards enemies. So 1, 2. Since this one is a 3 space slots field, he cannot activate now, but in his first activation it will trigger an activation from Theros, who will use his Athenian crossbow to attack the Bone Walker. With a 17 it's just enough to hit. Power 19 minus armor of 2, so 7 or less to wound. It's enough to destroy the Bone Walker, but it stays on the field because Theros has no burn quality. Now, the Forgotten Hero targets the closest enemy, which will be these two. Let's see, 1 to 10, it's Sagan. With a 7, this will be Sagan. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. With 8 spaces, Anari is basically cannot activate this turn, but while the Forgotten Hero activates to attack, Anari will activate to dodge 1 space closer. And now the Bone Walker with his the Forgotten Hero will attack with his Corroded Warbow at Sagan. With a 9, this is enough to hit, especially since he only needed an 18 because of the marksman. And now, power of 13 minus 6, 7 or less. 15 is not enough. Sagan gets a 7th wound. Luckily, I have the Hanaya of the Divine Protection, which means that hostiles cannot exploit weak points of the rarer. This is basically making Sagan a sponge for weak points. Second activation. Let's see who we target. Once again, it's Sagan because it's less than 11. Sagan will take it again. He has not much other possibilities. But this time, Anari will activate also, and she will use ice spikes to attack. So, getting the activation point. Let's see. First of all, the Forgotten Hero. With the 8, it is enough. And with a 12, it is not enough to wound Sagan, who gets an 8 weak point. If he wouldn't have the Hanya, it would be really scary. So now, Anari, 16 or less. Just a 16, that is enough. And now, power 11 minus armor 6, 3 or less. It's a 2. This is actually enough to destroy the Forgotten Hero, who gets also put down. I'm fearing that all these will revive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But before that, let me make a short break and prepare the hero's turn. And we are back. First of all, Nara once again casts Spectral Sight onto herself, and she activates immediately 1, 2, 3, using an interact action because the Superior Loot token drops here, and she will get the Precious Metal card. During a quest, this item may be discarded for 1 synergy point. I still have not caused any wound while engaged by another hero, so I really have to make the most out of the remnants here. And with that, Anari 1, 2. She, not before Anari, I think I should move. Oh no, wait, she can go there. 1, 2, and she will cast Melting Touch once again at Sagan, and then I should put away this loot token. 1, 2, and she will cast Melting Touch on Nara. So therefore, she has spent all her activations. Next, Nara will activate 1, 2, 3. Moving up to here, and she will try to cast Second Chance onto herself to heal. With a 9 and a 2, she absolutely heals, so the two ladies have spent their activations and are done for this turn. Now Sagan, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is a 3-person space. And then Theros, 1, 2, 3, goes up to here. 3, 4, 5, 6, walks up to here. Now he will stay here. And Sagan, 1, 2. And I learned from my previous encounter, I will stay where they are, let them put, and let the enemies activate first, so that I get my activation points back. Reckless Abandon. So, once again, shuffling it into the Chaos deck. And now the hero's turn is once again. Let me just put up here. And I think I will go with Nara this time. Casts. She needs mana token. So she casts Soul Leech onto herself. I'm expecting to get all the undead will rise now. So Soul Leech to get mana points. And I'll start with Anari, who will cast Melting Touch onto Sagan to get 1 space forward. And now Sagan will trigger and counter 3, putting away his activation point. As you step into the praying hall, the atmosphere becomes charged with energy. From the shadows, a nimble semi-humanoid Oni lunges, a Yakasha, her form a slender blend of Marauder and Rosetsu traits. Moves with uncanny grace. In a swift, unexpected motion, she grapples you and violently pulls you back down to the entrance area. As you stumble before her once more, her cold, unyielding eyes fix upon you, radiating violent malice. Place Profane Burner, Tenma Blue Yakasha, use behavior of Red Yakasha, okay. Place 1 Forgotten Hero, fallen hostiles present on the field, tier 1 regain all HP, tier 2 fallen hostiles present on the field, okay. Tier 3 hostiles regain 1 HP and all AP, so basically only the 1 rises because the Forgotten Hero is HP 2, tier 2. Placing Chronicles 2 on space left of 8. The hero that triggered encounter 3 is moved to 2. If an incense burner is present on Fortified Masonry, change it to a Profane Burner. Okay. So I'm still allowed, I have to reclaim that one. When Tenma drops below 4 HP, read secret log B8. Tenma. The blue is a boss type who can exploit weak points. Luckily, Sagan triggered it as the Hanya. When an attacked hero has a certain number of weak points, 2 weak points gain surprise attack. 1/1 hostile other than Yakasha, ignore the hero that triggered encounter 3 as long as the hero is on Fortified Mason ground. Okay. So, I will put all this down and then we will see what happens next. Okay, with this new situation, Theros will activate next. And Theros will use a dodge action to avoid the attack from the Forgotten Hero, because here I would say is a line of sight, more or less. I guess so, because bridge getting up, yeah, I will say there is a line of sight because wide corners. So, let's see. Theros, 13 or less, natural 20. And the Forgotten Hero rolls a 14, which is just enough to hit Theros. So Theros is still able to move 1, 2, 3 and dodge 1. Actually, he will then just, he will dodge there. And is he wounded? Power of 13 minus armor 2, 11 or less. 15, he is not wounded, but he gets a weak point. And since he was hit, he is affected by stagger, which is plainly not great. Now, Anari or Nara. Nara will activate next. She will also try to dodge to avoid the second attack of the Forgotten Hero. Let's see what happens. Nara dodging has an agility of 13-2. With a 2 she is more successful, and an 8 she successfully dodges the attack of the Forgotten Hero. Therefore, 1, 2, 3 spaces and a 4th space up here. And now Anari, 1, 2. She casts Melting Touch on Nara, is therefore able to walk an additional space. And Nara now activates with her last activation point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to get into the same space as the Forgotten Hero. Up in personal. Now Sagan, who could have activated still in his... Sagan would have used in his activation a dodge action to get into the same space as Tenma. And Tenma, line of sight enemy within 1 each, uses a melee attack. And Sagan, Flicker, Hit and Retreat, Stealth. Okay, Menacing, Survival, Advantage against me. Okay, Advantage against Medium. This is great for the Demon, not so great for Sagan. But Sagan, still under the influence of Melting Touch, will attack. Strike 3 on the offense, which is reduced luckily to strike 1 because it's a reactive roll. Defense of 13. Sagan has an offense of 14. Sagan will use his Combat Art 1 to reduce the defense by 3. Therefore, it's only defense 10. So let's see. Tenma with a 12. I think Sagan has chosen wisely. Now Sagan, 14 or less, 16 and a 12. Therefore the 12 hits, the 16 misses because he has an offense of 14 only. And now power of 15, ignoring the armor. Oh, Tenma has advantage, sorry. 6, okay, this was even worse. But Sagan manages to wound Tenma once with his attack. Tenma now has the bleed condition. And let's see if the burn does anything. With a 20, the burn does nothing. So, 6 wounds remaining, has to bleed. Excuse me. Now, in the strategic phase, Tenma has a strike value of 3. 1, 2, 3. Here, not strike value, activation points. 3, 2, 2, 2. Just giving all the hostiles the activation points. And giving all the heroes there's 2. This, and here we go. Okay, starting with the lowest one. Since of the quest rule 101, hostiles other than Yakasha ignore the hero that triggered encounter 3. Sagan is safe. This will be an honorable duel. And the Vengeful Spirit will, in its active role, line of sight, run towards enemy. Sagan is ignored. Yeah, okay, there. So other walk towards enemy. Here are black corners. So 1, 2, and 1, 2 with these 2 activations. He has line of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. And will Anari activate? Yes, Anari will activate. And Anari will use this to dodge 1 space back. And now the Vengeful Spirit has to activate again and run 1, 2, 3 to get into contact with Anari, who will once again activate. And she will cast a spell. She will cast... The target becomes immobilized on a hit. She will cast the Frost spell as soon as the Vengeful Spirit is up to here. So let's see, 16 or less. It's 15, which is just enough. It has a power of 11. The spirit has no armor. And with a 5 or less, it is enough to wound the Vengeful Spirit and put it down as soon as it enters here. Excuse me. Now, let's go to the Bone Walker in its active phase. Rotate if line of sight, walk towards enemy. Engaged or line of sight, walk towards enemy. So, walking, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just up here, slow and steady. Now, going with the tier we are now going to the fight with the Forgotten Hero against Nara. Nara has the veteran intuition, so therefore she will wait with her reaction. Let's start with 2 attacks and an offense of 14. And he will attack with his corroded sword. 2 strikes at 14 or less, 17 and 20. Nara will use this chance, activate herself, and try to attack in return. Therefore 1 attack with a defense value of 12. And a 12 is what she gets. Since she has also mating touch from Anari, she will have need a 14 or less to wound. It's a natural 1. The Bone Walker is wounded. What will the burn do? 18. The burn will do nothing, but it's a wound on the Bone Walker and the Forgotten Hero. Now, once again, the Forgotten Hero activates. Will try to strike Nara. 16 and 9. Nara will activate, and she will try to attack with her defense of 12. It's a 9, therefore both hit each other. Let's grab the violet die for the hostile. Forgotten Hero has a power of 13, minus 2 we are at 11, minus 3 we are at 8. And an 8 is what he rolled. Therefore Nara gets a wound and she is poisoned 1. But before that happens, at the same time, 14 or less, 3, it is enough to wound. And a 1 for the burn, it is also down. And she casts Soul Leech onto herself. She did a total of 3 wounds. Therefore, she gets 1, 2, 3 mana total. And the Forgotten Hero is removed from the field. And quick reference, poison 1 confers weak poison. Wounded is in the weakened state until the next strategic phase. And weakened is half toughness and minus 1 strike. So, poison, but it doesn't matter really. Now, the most difficult one, it's against Tenma with its 3 activations and active roll. Closest enemy, yeah. Engaged, it is. Enemy within, walk towards enemy. Stop 1 hit away if able. Idle if true. Enemy within 1 melee attack, use hit and retreat to move away from target. So before that, Tenma will strike with 3 attacks. Sagan will react by attacking himself. Offense of 15. Sagan will reduce the offense by 3 using once again Masterful Parry for fencing 1. So, Tenma with 3 strikes, needing a 12 or less. 17, 14 and a 9. So thanks to Sagan reducing this, only the 9 hits. Sagan attacks in return, needing a 14 or less. 6 and 19, so Sagan loses this match. Bleed and sweep 1. Power of 18 in total, minus armor 6, so 12 or less to wound. It's a 16. Sagan is not wounded, but he gets his 9th weak point. And now hit and retreat to move away from target. So Tenma will go up to here. Activate a second time to attack Sagan. Sagan will... yeah, he has to take it at least once. He will try to use his agility to dodge. Sagan's attempt to dodge. With an 18, this is not good. Tenma, 15 or less. 4, 6 and 17. 2 hits. 18 minus 6, 12 or less. 4 and a 3, these are 2 wounds on Sagan. Not good. 1, 2. And now Sagan has to take the 3rd one. And he also has the bleed condition. 18, 19 and a 13. The 13 hits. And with a 12, 18 minus 6, 12 is enough to make Sagan incapacitated. Not great. Sagan is down. But he tanked at least one round of the Yakasha. So with this, I prepare the hero's turn. And I totally forgot what will happen here. Premonition draw. Okay, let's just do that. First Chaos Star a card. We are at the Night Cycle. Speed. Okay, not good. And the other hostile recovery to highest tier. Yeah, I will do the recovery. I will do this one. Range attack with a hostile -3 and 1 speed cell. 1, 2. This one goes up to here. Okay, this one here. Put this card on the bottom of the deck and resolve the remaining Chaos card. Okay, here, this. And 2 highest tier hostiles recover 1 H. No, sorry. I thought that they would get back into the game. I will use that one because the hostiles were not destroyed previously. And I will put this card back on top. But since this one is shuffled back into the deck, I will do that, prepare the hero's turn, and I will think about what I will do. Just for the protocol, I believe I might have forgotten that Nara would have gotten -3 to her offense or defense respectively because Sagan was engaged. But I also believe that she rolled good enough for this to not matter at all. So beginning with this, so I will let it be as it is. Nara will use her first activation to use an interact action with the Intrigue Tome, because mainly I want to know what it is. A bell tower overlooks the entrance of the fortified masonry. When a hero performs interact, read secret log. Let me just put a card in here so that I can turn over quickly. B07121. Oh. As you enter the bell tower, you realize it offers a perfect vantage point over the entrance area. Models on 9 and the bell tower tile can perform range attack and assist actions on model on the fortified monastery, regardless of reach and line of sight restriction. A model can move from 9 to the space with the profane incense burner on tile by performing climb. A model can move from the space with the burner back to 9 if it has climb or leap. Ooh, that is great, especially since Nara stands there. Because now to tile 26B. No, wait. Let me read it again. Entrance tile 30A. That is here. That is the monastery. Yeah, okay. And the bell tower can perform range. Okay. 26B. Here. Okay. From this one, we can go there. And we can attack. Okay. I think I got it. From 9 to the space with the profane incense at the clamp. Mods on 9 and bell tower can perform. Okay, good. So basically, these 4 can attack here, which might be useful right now. Because Nara can let Sagan get up. And before that, Theros will activate also. And perform an interact action with the second Intrigue token here. An old calligraphy scroll portraying the god Rishin adores the wall. Written on the painting is a passage from the Sutra of the Pure Realm. As the divine incense ascends to the heavens, its fragrance unveils the path to enlightenment. Guide the heart with each breath towards the stillness of truth. When the twin flames of impurity are purified in harmony, the hidden way shall be revealed, and the seeker shall walk the sacred realm unseen. What does the passage try to convey? The heroes must cleanse both profane burner and transform them into incense burner and harmony within the same turn to unlock the hidden passage of mantra. Cleanse one profane burner, then meditate, advance the time clock by 1 time period, and finally cleanse the second profane burner to harmonize with the teachings of the sutra and unlock its hidden passage. Okay. Ascend to the heaven, Israel and veils and paths of enlightenment, guiding the heart with each breath towards the stillness of truth. When the twin flames of impurity are purified in harmony. Yeah, I will go with A. But I have to do it on a later moment. Because currently I have a little bit of an undead and a Yakasha problem. And with all that said, Nara will activate, since she has the climbing and the leap skill. She can go down, so 1, 2, 3. She will go down 1. And she will try to cast Second Chance on Sagan. 14 and a 2. The 2 is enough. Intelligence of 13. So therefore Sagan regains 1 wound to remaining, and he gets an activation point. Getting up. And the Yakasha in its reactive roll. Okay, target of an attack outside of 1 inch. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot to give the Yakasha reaction tokens. Okay, now Anari will activate 1, 2. She will cast Melting Touch on Theros. Therefore, she's allowed to walk another space. And then she will convert her second activation point. Will she, or does she cast? No, she will cast on Sagan, Melting Touch, and walk another. Well, she will go up the bell tower completely, walk for there, and then stay there. Next, Sagan will activate. Theros, sorry. Activate 1, 2 gets into heavy cover, so that the 2 are in heavy cover. And now Theros will attack Tenma, who will try to dodge 2 spaces. So let's start with Theros. 17 or less. With an 8 he is able to hit. Tenma, agility of 14. 5 managed to dodge this and go 1, 2 spaces up to Nara. And Sagan will use that to get into the same space as Nara. Now partner bonus activates. And Tenma will attack to defend itself. Theros, Sagan, I don't know what is up with me. Sagan will use his Fencing 1 art to reduce the defense value of Tenma by 3, therefore 10 or less. 13, Tenma fumbles. Sagan, 14 or less for his offense. 3 and 15, so the 3 is enough to hit. 15 or less to wound. Natural 20, no wound on Tenma. Now, the bleed condition Sagan has, I should put also a token on Sagan for this. And it's at the start of the strategic phase where Sagan was still unconscious. Okay, so this didn't trigger at all. Okay, these 2 have activated. So Theros, Sagan have activated. All my activations are spent. With all this, let's reshuffle the chaos deck and see what the hostiles will get. Okay, I just realized with Nara and Sagan in the same space, I finally have a chance to score some synergy points. But let's see. Terror's Embrace. Choose the hostile with the highest tier on the field, Tenma. Each hero must perform a murder roll, apply -3 if the hostile, yeah, it is the case. That fails hero must walk away from the hostile and the movement facing away from it. Okay, let's see. Anari, 9 or less. 13. 1, 2. Theros, let's go there. 8 or less. He stays where he is. Sagan, 14 or less. 17. 1, 2. And Nara, 14 or less. 11 or less. 10. She is fine. Sagan, not the hero we needed. And also not what we got. So, walk away from the hostile, ending the movement facing away from it. If there are no hostiles on the field, failing. Okay. So, now the lowest tier, ignoring Sagan, but he can see Nara, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And since this is a 4-people space, it can walk into the same space as Nara. Will Sagan will react. Pardon, not the wound. I forgot to give my heroes activation points. Sagan will only get 1 because Sagan will activate this turn to use a Sentinel and his combat art 3, second wind, to get 3 attacks against the Vengeful Spirit, who just has run into his space. Luckily he used the third dice, 16, 17 and 14, 15 or less. He destroys the Vengeful Spirit, which is not burned to crisp, but is enough so that it will not bother Nara. Now it has line of sight, therefore 1, 2, 3, 4. And getting up there, a Neri will activate. She will cast once again Frost to immobilize. Let's see if she's able to do so. 6, yes she does. And now power of 11 has Frost, minus armor 2, 9 or less. 13, the undead is not put down, but it is frozen in space, therefore it stays where it is. Now, with all the undead defeated or moved, Tenma, in its active role, engage with an enemy, therefore it will attack. It has an offense capability. It will attack, but our heroes will also activate. Starting with... Let's start with Theros, who will shoot his soporific grenade. So, needing a 13 or less to hit. Come on, Theros. Natural 20. So much for that. Next, Anari. Anari will use Water Lash this time. All sizes except Colossal and Epic. Yep. 16 or less. 13, therefore knockback activates. Power of 8, minus armor 3, 5 or less. Not enough. And she will move the only 2 spaces to Sagan, and now we'll wait what the attack of the Oni will actually do. 17, 18 and 15, it is 1 hit, and Nara will try to dodge the attack with a 13 or less. With a 2, she's able to dodge the attack and therefore go, since order is there, and will go 1, 2, follow up. Or no, she will go up to here. Okay, that was one reaction. Now Tenma, in contact with the next hero, will attack once again. Theros can activate 2, Sagan will activate, and Nara, has Nara something offensive she can cast? I have in mind that she has only healing and enchantment. Yeah. It's not an undead, therefore only healing and enchantment. So, Sagan will activate, Theros will activate. Theros using this time his Thenian crossbow, 17 or less to hit. With a 2, it is a hit. 19 minus 3, therefore 16 or less to wound. With a 5, this is actually a wound, and I just noticed the bleeding, therefore toughness 6, toughness 15, everything is fine. Okay, Tenma has 1, 2, 3. Sagan will reduce the offense by 3, therefore 12 or less. 2, 3, and 11. These are 3 hits. Sagan, 14 or less. It's a 9, which cancels out these 2. And Sagan's second attack is a 7. So Sagan was able to cancel out 2, but Tenma still wins. And with this, it will be now with a 3 enough to put Sagan down once more. With 3 wounds, still bleeding. Now Tenma has target priority closest enemy. So 1, 2, 3. He goes to Nara with his last activation. And he activates. He attacks 11, 12, and 19. 2 hits. Nara will try to dodge. With an 11, she's able to dodge. And 1, 2 spaces stands in the middle of the field. So, Terra's Embrace was the card. Now, let's give my heroes back some activation token. And Theros will regain his grenade because it's non-arcane consumable. The hostiles also get some activations. 3 and 2. Nara will cast Necrotic Wound onto herself. Cleave and Poison 2. But before that, let's start with Nara, who will cast Second Chance on Sagan. 15 and 4. Yeah, 15 and 4. Because it's after the strategic phase, Sagan does not need to roll for bleed condition. Or does he? What does a bleed condition say? Toughness, suffer 1 wound, but heroes cannot go dead in this campaign as far as I remember. At least I will play it this way. I will have to look it up afterwards, but to keep the game flowing, Sagan goes up and gets 1 activation point. Now, Anari goes 2 spaces back and casts Melting Touch on Nara. Sagan will activate. Enemy reactive roll. Let's see. Okay, there will be an attack as soon as Sagan gets into melee range. 1, 2. So Sagan had to dodge it. No. Sagan will use his short bow to attack Tenma. Tenma will react by dodging. Agility 14. With a 12, Sagan has 2 strikes, needing a critical hit. 16, 19, not enough, but enough to let Tenma move 1, 2 spaces towards Sagan. Here we are. Now, Anari had also activated once. Theros will activate next. Theros will use her Thenian crossbow to shoot at Tenma, which will try to dodge once again. Tenma dodging. 6. Theros 5. 1, 2. Tenma is up here. And now I think, or at least I believe, that I have to go with Nara. Because what was a Sagan card? Sagan drew, Theros drew. Yeah. Third activation from Tenma will be done from Nara, who will attack Tenma. Tenma will defend. Defense of 13. It's exactly a 13. This is quite tough now for Nara, because she needs a 14. 17 and 7. Tenma wins. And 19. Fails to wound. Luckily. But this is a weak point. Wait a second. Number of weak points 2. Gain surprise attack. Tenma will do that the next time. And with this, Theros is still able. And Anari Theros will activate. He will shoot with the Thenian crossbow. Why I didn't use Theros? Because Tenma has... Oh, I could have used Theros previously. Because I was thinking, with Flicker you can ignore it. Or space character snubs here. Tenma had to go this way. Okay. It is done. So Theros shoots at Tenma. 11 is enough. 19 minus 3. 4 is also enough. 19 minus 3. So Tenma gets a third wound. And Tenma is at 4 wounds or less. Drops below 4 wounds. Okay. 1 wound. There's still 1 wound remaining. And since Anari does not really has any offense capability by herself, an attacker must perform agility with the first power equal to its own attack. Afterwards, the enchantment is removed. A model that attacks the enchanted model and is within the same space. Yeah. Anari will cast Flameskin onto Nara. Okay, with this, it's the hostile's turn. Other way around. Let's see if Tenma still survives. 6, yeah, everything is fine for Tenma. Here, and these are turned around. So Nara is still up. Theros is up. Sagan is up. And Anari is up. And Chaos card says spawn 2 tier 1 hostiles on the closest space with a loot token chest and if there are no loot, spawn the hostiles 1 space behind the last hero of the space on the front and 1 space of the first hero. Okay, so let me see. I think I triggered everything. I think I can remove now my dead miniatures here. So will there be a bone walkers? No. Okay, 1 will spawn here and 1 will spawn here. Okay, here and here. This one, closest hero. 1 to 10 Anari. It will attack Anari. It go up to here. And Anari will wait what the ghost attack will do. With a 9 it will hit. Therefore Anari will try to dodge it with an agility of 12. 17. She'll move here. And now the ghost with a 7 wounds her, which causes her to become incapacitated. No, it will also go up to here to strike at Theros. Theros on his turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, will use a dodge action. Since he has a climbing, he will go just down. So, Theros, 16, the Vengeful Spirit, 18, but it is enough for Theros to jump 1 and 2. Getting down here. The skeleton, line of, 1, 2, 1, 2, gets up to here. This Vengeful Spirit, closest enemy is Nara. And Nara will wait. Vengeful Spirit attacks. With a 3 it hits. Nara will try to strike back. Yeah, she will. 7, she wins the confrontation. Power 14, imbued with enough spells. 14 is enough to destroy the Vengeful Spirit. At least that worked. Costed her 1 activation. And now Tenma will activate. and will attack. Nara will wait and see. Offense of 15. Natural 1, 12, and 7. That's really a massacre. Nara will dodge it. At least try. She managed to dodge 1, 2, but the natural 1 is still a hit. And a 5 is a second wound on Nara, and she also gets the bleeding condition. I do not have a bleeding token. No, I forgot. Tenma is fine. Okay. Now, next is Theros. 1, 2. Tenma will attack, Theros will dodge. Come on, Theros. Okay. That might be game. 11, 11, and 18. And 10 is enough, 15 is enough. 2 wounds. Okay, even with a soporific grenade, it wouldn't have done anything. So Theros is also incapacitated. Down. Next, against Sagan. Sorry. Sagan will also activate. And Sagan will try to dodge into Tenma's space. Tenma, 9 and 11. Sagan rolled a 13, which is not enough. So 2 hits. 4 and 4. Sagan is down. So, that's my first attempt at the tempo. I will try to make another game, and let's see how the second game comes into being.